name's Noah Rubin. You can find me on Instagram at Dino Dad Comedy.
Scott Coburn. Oh, handle on Instagram. Scott Coburn Comedy. Instagram.
Noah Nguyen, Noah the Engine. Hey, I'm Han Cisneros. You can find me at Han Cisneros Comedia or Comedy, whichever. Honestly, if you look it up, and it's either gonna be me or one of the Hanses, one of them. Good luck. I hope it's a Mexican one. I've been doing comedy on stage for 2 years, but I've been pursuing this my whole life. I've been doing comedy since 2021. I guess at this point it's like what, 2-3 years, somewhere around there. Time is a figment of our imaginations, but ultimately it's been a great game.
Well, I think I started in 2021, over at Water Wheel Lounge.
I've been doing comedy since 2022 November, so a year and a half.
Best night in comedy ever, what I would say would be audition at Laughs. A club is always going to be the best. Next to that would be, shit. This is going to sound like I'm using Preparation H for lip gloss. I swear I'm not kissing ass. The night I met your host, Dory, here, okay? No, real shit. Because that was the night that I was hosting at Shanghai, and I spent the entire night just calling back and picking up every single comedian who came on. That was the night that I felt most like this was community, like this was sanctum, you know? Like this wasn't therapy. This is what you do after therapy, you know? That was what that night was. That's what comedy's supposed to be. It's the after.
I don't know. It wasn't one of my sets, I can tell you that. I don't know, I did 15 minutes at Peace of Mind Brewing. That was a pretty good set.
I actually just auditioned at Laughs Comedy Club, and I feel like that set alone was one of my best sets I've ever had. It was really went well. Lots of laughs that night, actually. So.
Honestly, the best night for me has to be the one I did in Spanish. My first stand-up comedy show in Spanish. It was in Pasco, Washington, I think like a year or so. And it was the best one because that one proved the point that I actually wanted to test. I hadn't done my production company yet, but it proved Latinos are out here. We're desperate for comedy. We want to get some laughs out here. And I'm like, cool, got it. Just gotta pick up the ball and just start rolling with it. And that, I gotta admit, the energy the Latinos had for this, it was great. It's like you can see we want to laugh. Bring it. Which one's the worst? Honestly, I'd say the one where I drove for I'd say hour and a half just to go to a place, and then they're like, oh, we're doing comedy. I'm like, cool. And they're like, you can do comedy if you want, but there's nobody here. There's nothing here. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I tried it, and no, that's, I guess, bad because there's nobody there. Now bad because there's people there, but they're not focusing, or they just don't want the comedy. Now that's a different situation. I don't even remember where it was, but the room was full and they did not want comedy. Every single comedian went up, we bombed, every one of us, and we're just like making fun of the border, make fun of, I don't know, something, I don't know, and everyone's like, oh, I don't know what to do anymore. They just don't want us here. I'm like, damn, that's right, but did we just go to ICE or something? It's like someone heard Mexicans are coming. Deport their asses. I could have swore I saw 2 of them on the phone already.
Probably like my first night doing it, where I said something about how I told my wife at the time to show her tits, and then I told her about that set, and she got very upset by it, and I tried to get the whole audience to say, show your tits. She wasn't there, but then I thought it was funny. It was something I thought it was funny. I got so ashamed of it, I almost decided I wasn't going to do comedy anymore. But, you know, look at me now. Show your tits.
Worst night in comedy ever would have to be my second night ever open micing. Because my first night I bombed, but I got maybe 7 or 8 hard laughs. So I knew I had good shit. But I was fresh. My second night in comedy, fuck, every single joke bombed. I wanted to leave the stage. Nobody liked my shit. Everything sucked. It was fucking awful. It was the worst ever. And I had so much prepared. You know, it was awful. I survived it, I did it good, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with bombing. I fell in love with the rejection. I knew it was right. Your worst night makes you. But it also doesn't define you, you know? You can't let it define you, but it makes you.
Tonight, the worst night of comedy. Comedy Code Breakers. It was amazing. There was about 2 civilians in the room. My wife laughed though, so I gotta I'm doing this persona thing. It's so stupid. My wife was in the room. It was fun. I love my wife so much. Love is not a big enough word how I feel about that woman.
You know, I keep wanting to make the Shroom Room Comedy Showcase bigger and bring it elsewhere. I'm bringing it to the Infinity Room in Salem next month in April. You know, I keep wanting to perform it more and figure it out like everybody else. Find a voice, find something else to talk about. I'm kind of in this stuck phase where people say, oh, you're just like a young Larry David. And I'm like, that's just how Jews sound. We all sound like we're characters from Seinfeld. But I'm trying to work past that and not, I don't know, sound less Jewish, but I guess that's just the way it's going to be.
I'd like to do more mics. I'd like to write better jokes. I'm 62 years old. I'm never going to live long enough to be good at this. So it's just fun for me and my wife, you know? Gets us out of the house.
I want to be able to feature once a month in 2024. I just got passed at Lax, so I'm trying to get as much stage time as possible. By the end of 2024, by January 2025, I want to have left the state for comedy twice. I just got back from Texas, like actually last night before getting banged up. I want to travel twice more for comedy because you have to bleed for your art. You have to do it for real.
I guess out of all the goals I got, the two most critical ones are keep hitting comedy, hit it harder this time, start hitting it harder now, and two, hit harder on my production company. I want to do more shows for Latinos, bring more stuff for us. And there's a lot of Juan Forno's group, they're also doing comedy, so I'm like, great. I want more comedy over here for Latinos and just in general. The comedy scene is in here. We just got to bring it back. Not even bring it back, just keep it alive.
I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would tell myself to try to be more honest in my comedy. I'm still trying to learn how to do that.
Get in the game. Just stop worrying about all these what could happen, what might happen, what if. But it's like, who cares? If you trip, trip. Now get up and keep walking. I wish I could have told myself at a younger point, hey, get in the game. No one's gonna push you in, and no one's gonna. Well, I mean, they're not gonna technically push you out. But it's a tug and pull where you're fighting this, but it's honestly gonna be one of the best experiences you're ever gonna get, just because when it goes bad, it's a feeling, but when it goes good, wow. I swear there's no other better feeling than having a crowd laugh at just a general. You can feel the energy everywhere. It's just rolling. You're like, yes, I feel it. Let's go. Let's keep it going. And then when they're like, oh, you got a minute, I'm like, motherfucker, I just had them.
When I was first starting off comedy, what I would tell myself is, say yes to the offers a lot more. The first 9 months, anytime someone says, do you want to host? Do you want to cover this? Do you want to that? Say yes to that. There was a couple times you should have said no to an offer. You know what I'm talking about, dude. But it's cool, whatever. We don't want to worry about that shit no more, okay? But yeah, say no. That's not a good move, dude. Don't eat out of your toilet. You know better. Say no. You should have said no twice. No regrets, but don't do that no more.
Oh, you know, you don't have to be so kind to people. That's what I want to. That's what I do. It's too nice, and I'm tired of being nice to people. And I think that's when things started to get better.
I do have a show coming up in April 12th in Seaside. It'll be myself, Derek Sheen, Amani Dene. It's going to be amazing. If you've never seen Amani Dene before, right? Am I right? She's amazing.
I love her.
I know. I can't wait. Cool. Well, you guys have a good time.
Yes, Marie Loeb next month has a show, Hotties and Bodies, at the Shanghai Room. That's going to be pole dancers. That's going to be comedians. Also, on the tail end of that, okay, so that's first step. As long as it's relevant cabaret comedy, I got a show I'm promoting. I'm actually still looking for cast. It's called Not for the Closed-Minded. CLOTHES. Not for the closed-minded. I got 4 male comedians, including myself, who will wear women's clothing from like blouses to drag to heavy metal to burlesque and in between. And I'm looking for female comedians who wear tuxedos. This is a gender bender show. But I want to make it clear, before I go any further, this is a woman's shirt I'm wearing right now, okay? I'm looking for, if you're a male comedian, I only want you if you're already wearing women's clothing. I did my last 4 showcases, not this one, the last 4 in eyeliner. If you're willing to wear drag for me, for money, keep it shoved and someone else will hire you. But if you already knew how to look good in women's clothes, if you were already like Prince kind of guy, come on board. Or if you're a woman who's a fucking killer and you can rock a tux, hit me up. It's called Not for the Closed Minded. It's gonna be a whole series of gender bender shows.
I'd say check me up on my Instagram, or honestly I'm trying to get myself out there in all the social medias, but currently just Instagram is going to be the hardest one for my Cisneros Comedia. Anything I'm doing is going to be posted there. And for Comedy La Santa, that one, Instagram is good too, but I'm also using that one on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, check it up. If you're on Instagram, check them up there. If you're Latino, come and get some. It's gonna be some good stuff. Speak Spanish, great. And if you don't, I'm also putting in some English stuff in there. Just, hey, I get it. Not every one of us got English, and we're still out there. Latinos, we're all together. We gotta keep this rolling.
Just come to the Shanghai Room Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and then I guess hang out for karaoke if you're so inclined.